if you're doing street photography, everything's moving quick. You don't have time to worry about camera settings or to worry about lighting situations, right? You just have to be prepared before the fact. And that goes especially if what you're doing is taking photos of people, like just going up to them and asking them if you can photograph them, just like I do. So 99% of the time, 100% of the time, you will be shooting in natural light. But I guess you can control a couple of things. For example, the time of the day that you go out. If you're going out to do your street photography and your street portraits in the middle of the day, around noon, 1 p.m., the lighting is not gonna be good. The sun is the highest in the sky. You're gonna have all different sorts of shadows on the face. So what you could do, if you really can't help it, and you gotta go in the middle of the day, is shoot in the shadows, right? Or approach people where there isn't a lot of sunlight. Maybe there's some buildings blocking the sunlight. You just gotta work around it. If you can go later in the day, when the sun is less high in the sky, that is better. Now, the ideal situation, in my opinion, is cloudy days. I just love cloudy days because shadows on the face are basically non-existent, right? The lighting just wraps around the face beautifully. It's so smooth, it's so beautiful, it's so nice. All those clouds are just acting like a big diffuser for the sun. So naturally, you're gonna get this amazing lighting on the face. But no matter what lighting situation you're dealing with, two things are important, right? The spot that you're shooting at, you can always shoot in the shadow, you can always shoot in the shade, you can always shoot behind a building or behind like a big wall or something that's blocking the light, but you can also control the angle that you're shooting in. Now, ideally, what you want to do is have the lighting behind the subject, or the big light source be behind the subject. If they're facing the light right on, well, first of all, you're gonna blind them, right? They'll have the sun right in the face, but also it's just gonna be a bunch of shadows on the face and it's just not gonna look right. Unless that's the look you're going for, this like dramatic lighting look, you can. If you're not, then don't have the light coming right at their face. You can have the light coming from behind them. That's my preferred option. Or you can have the light, hitting the right side of, or I guess the left side of their face, or the right side of their face. Now, what I would do is shoot on the opposite of whichever side the light is hitting their face on. For example, if they're standing like this, the light is hitting the left side of their face. I would shoot on the shadow side. That means I would be on the right, shooting the right side of their face, right? Now, this is a personal choice. I just prefer to shoot on the shadow side. I think it's more interesting, and I think it's a more pleasing look for the photo. But you might feel otherwise. Let me know in the comments. This is just my preference. So no matter what time of the day you're shooting, no matter what the lighting situation is, always move around. Don't be afraid to ask the subject to maybe turn around, maybe switch positions with you, maybe move to the left or move to the right a little bit. You're the photographer, so you're controlling how the photo is going to look, or you're controlling the angle in which you're going to shoot. So take advantage of that. Now, as for camera settings, right? You want to set your camera settings obviously depending on the lighting situation. If you're shooting in the middle of the day where the sun is very high in the sky, well, obviously you're gonna shoot with a lower aperture, a faster shutter speed, right? And maybe even a lower ISO. But if you want to keep that blur in the background and that nice shadow depth of field, you have a couple of options. Now, obviously, with a very shallow depth of field and an aperture like 1.4, 1.8, or 2.8, more light is going to go in the sensor of the camera. That means that your photo is gonna be more exposed to lighting. So what you could do is raise up your shutter speed, lower your ISO, or just shoot in the shade. And another tip, if you're a beginner, I would greatly advise you to stay on auto. Now, if you're a more experienced photographer, you can change your settings on the whim like that, or maybe you have custom buttons on your camera to control the lighting, to control the exposure, to control the ISO, shutter speed, aperture, all that stuff. But if you're a beginner, or even if you're just not too sure about the lighting situation, about your settings, stay in auto mode. Because listen, you're going to struggle if you stay in manual and you're not sure or confident in your skills or in your settings. If you don't know the right settings to have, stick in auto mode, you will not regret it. If you've enjoyed this video, learned something new from it, or found it entertaining, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. You can watch this video here where I talk all about that. Or if you want to learn a little bit more about photography, street portraits, and capturing the best side of people, kind of like how I turned ordinary people into models, you can watch this video right here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay creative, keep creating. God bless you.